some of these pillars with deep curves. And I know it's right. It's very sudden that I went live, but I hadn't did any live on YouTube and wanted to share a live with you guys today and be able to take in a couple questions real quick as well. But we're gonna head back to the back and we're gonna get on another pillar, the extra pillar, which we've already done this one, but I felt it'd be something you guys could learn from, showing you how to wrap these deep curved pillars. So if you guys will follow me, stay tuned. We're gonna get at it. Right. So we got the second pillar here, and what I wanted to show you is when you're dealing with these deep curves, you can't just lay the material over it and think that it's gonna sink into those corners just like butter. But it is possible to do it with a little bit of patience and the technique that I'm going to show you today. So what we did is we basically laid the material over here, but the secret to doing this job is we're going to sink our fingers into it. And by doing so, it's going to allow us to have a little extra material. Running there.
They can't see.
All right, so when we push it down in the corners, that's going to give us the excess material we need in order for it to sink into those deep curves. So we're positioning it here, and what we're going to do is we're going to shoot the glue on one side at a time as we lay it across here. And I've already started on this section, kind of give you an idea of how that's going to lay out. But on this second section here, we're going to get started on that. And basically, I've sunk it down in here to give me an idea of how I want this material to lay. So I'm with one finger pressed in here. I'm basically positioning the material, and then all of these wrinkles will get pulled out from either the top or the bottom. All right, so that's close enough to where I want to be there with my finger position.
B Rich says, "What's up, man?"
Hey, B Rich, what's happening? All right, wanted to go live and do a quickie on showing these deep curves on a pillar post. And this is an old school car. I don't know if it's a Oldsmobile or something, a Delta 88, but it's something pretty old. This is one we did and got it looking pretty nice. We're gonna wrap up on this one. All right, hand me the gun. I got you.
All right, plastic.
So another question that people ask is, are you able to spray this unbacked material without it bleeding through? And the answer to that is yes. You just want to spray it lightly, and you can put the majority of your glue on the panel here. Right. So I'm gonna give that a light spray, and I'll let it tack just a little bit and set to where it'll get nice and sticky. So once we get ready to lay this over, then we'll have a nice bond. But as you can see, this is the type of mist that you want on your fabric. Not too heavy to where it bleeds through. You can see where it was trying to give a little glob there, but we did put just enough there that it will not seep through. So like I mentioned before, once we have an idea about where we want our material, we'll use our finger to press it down in there and get it just about there. And once it tacks itself in a corner, then you can hold it there and pull these wrinkles out. And so now that I have this position there, as you can see, I'll give it a base rub and get that set, and then I'll come here and I'll pull these wrinkles out. And that's what's the beauty about this stretch suede. It's just so easy to work with. It pretty much just melts its way on here. You can see that all these wrinkles are just coming right out of there. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. I love it when it's coming together, guys. Nice and beautiful here. There you go. All right, so there's a nice corner done there. And we'll go ahead and do this other side here. Like I said, I'll take my finger and push it down in that corner. Give me a nice idea of where I'm gonna be. And since I got this last little section here, I gotta make sure that I also be mindful of how this section is gonna look. So I'm gonna stretch it out here, and then I'll take my finger and slide it down in there. There we go. That's about where I want to be right there. And all of this will work its way down. And those wrinkles will come out either the bottom side or the top side. And I use this plastic here so that way we don't overspray onto our suede. All right, that's about all the glue we need there. that finger is going to give me my little base of where I want to start out at.
B Rich said, okay, so that's where I was messing up again. Nice tip.
Already appreciate you for watching.
What kind of car you got, B Rich?
He be doing his full interior. Bert's redoing his full interior on his vehicle.
You know that person?
Yeah. We chop it up. He be sending me some pictures of his jobs and stuff on his work that he putting in.
For sure.
We're gonna cut him a little video on his and pop it into the Instagram once he's completed that. So you see, it's just melting in there just like butter. And then we'll have this little section here left. And what I'm doing is I'm just basically leaving myself enough room to have an out. So with this, I can either stretch it from down below or pull it all the way out this way. Once I get the base set. So what I'm going to do in this part, I'm going to take my extra material. First, I'm going to go ahead and cut off a little excess here.
1995 Honda Accord. That's what's up, man. That's what's up.
So we got that extra out of the way, and we'll just take that and put it down in here like this. That way we can see what we're going to be spraying here. There we go. And I can actually pull this back just a little bit to give me a little more excess here. Thank you, Jim. Right. So for you guys that don't know, my cameraman today is my stepson Junior, and basically he's been trained and coming up. I've been training him to wrap a bunch of these headliner boards and stuff, so he's up and coming, and he's been doing great things. So it is possible for you guys to learn at whatever age. I've had a lot of guys come to me that wanted tips and tricks on starting their business or even getting into this game, and I'm here for you guys to help you out, give you guidance, give you some schooling and classes. I am going to be putting up a few things on the website that will allow people to either get mentorship through FaceTime or either coming over to the shop and putting in a couple hours and learning some of these things. A lot of money can be made here. A job like this, the material itself, we probably use about 1 yard of material, and at the end of the day, excuse me, my nose right now.
Tomorrow Zimmer says, hey, how are you?
Oh, doing great, man. Appreciate you for joining the live. But what I was saying is this right here only took 1 yard of material. So at the end of the day, you only got about $30 invested in materials with glue, the material itself, but you can make about 150 doing these two things here, and we probably got about 30 minutes into it. So one of the things I wanted to also let you know is I never spray the whole piece of material at one time. Doing that is going to cause you to have too much to work with, so you only want to spray what you can deal with at that moment. I try to spray about 6 to 8 inches worth of the panel. All right. So here we are, guys. Once again, we're going to take my finger and push down on one side of it and let it connect at the bottom side of this pillar. so by me connecting it at the bottom, I have a base set. Then from there, I can take the rest of this and pull outward. And I'm rubbing it to make it smooth all at the same time. Then I'll pull the rest outward. And it starts to take shape just like that.
You see the message she left you?
That's it. All right. Well, look at that, guys. Not a
Beautiful.
wrinkle inside this thing. It's looking beautiful. Coming out real nice. So you don't have to fear that you got a little wrinkle in your material. Like I said, it'll come right out. These are wrinkles right here. But because we got it sprayed down on the board here and it's still tacky, so we're able to work with it. And your headliner or your material is still tacky as well, but you're still able to work with it in this state. So we're just gonna pull that out like that, smooth it all down. And then it has some little indentions in here, so I'm gonna go ahead and put those in as well while we're at it. And I'm just using my fingernail. You can use what they call a little plastic sponger, but I've been doing this for so long, my fingernail is at the right height for it. There we go. And just like that, guys, this thing's coming together and taking shape. So we just got this little extra piece here. And like I said, I used to use a little plastic to make sure that I don't overspray my material. It's easy to forget, but you definitely don't want to overspray. All right. All right, guys, and one more tip I'm going to give you as well. If you're using a spray gun like this, you always want to toy around with these settings on here to give you an idea of what type of spray you're going to have. So I'm going to give you a quick rundown of what each one of these settings is for real quick. On your gun, this right here at the bottom controls how much airflow you have going into the gun from your compressor. So it's like a little mini regulator. And there's different guns out there that have even two of these, or you know, it may have a couple different settings, but this particular one is the one I like to buy. It's the cheapest one that you can buy from the Harbor Freight, and we also sell it at our place as well. And but yeah, your airflow is here. This right here controls how wide it sprays, so it gives you the narrowness or the width of how it sprays, and that's what controls there. And then this one right here will control how much glue actually comes out. So it controls the feed of the glue going into your gun. So with these three settings, you guys can adjust this to reach a maximum or optimum spray of whatever you're trying to do. So just keep that in mind. These guns, we sell them on our website for around 20 bucks. I want to say they're like $18.99 or something to that effect. You can get them at Harbor Freight for around $16, $17. We just upsell them a couple of bucks, you know what I'm saying, for our time. So, getting back into this, you basically give it a nice little tug and just smooth it out as you go. Nice little tug and smooth out as you go. Another thing you guys want to do is identify. You want to identify what parts of your pillars is going to be covered by plastic moldings. So if you look here, there's a little tab here, and this tab doesn't need to be covered because it's going to actually be tucked underneath a piece of metal trim. So this doesn't have to be covered, only covered up to the little edge here. So you want to take your razor blade, and we may give it a little overlay of about 1/4 of an inch. We'll go up this little steel here so it doesn't be cut exactly flush. So you want to keep that in mind as well. And another thing on this one here, these little pieces are going to be tucked inside another piece of plastic. So we wrap this on the back side of here just to give it a nice smooth finish. So this one's all pretty much wrapped up other than us doing this back edge here. So I'm going to flip it over. And I'm going to give you a quick tutorial on how you cut these areas for the relief.
This one was done perfectly.
It came out pretty good.
Yeah. All the dips went way up here.
Yeah, it went all the way to the top. I'm more mindful that one has a little bit of area.
Yeah, you might want to tell them about that because that's what happened on the last one too.
Yeah. So, just real quick, guys, you want to make sure that you get your edges down as far as you can get them in the corners here before you start doing any relief cutting. So I'm taking my hand and just rubbing it on the back side here to get it all the way up to the top. All the way up to the top of the plastic.
Laura says looks perfect as usual.
All right, appreciate you. So we're rubbing our fingers on the edge. Now, if it doesn't go all the way up to the top, it could need more glue. And with that being said, we're going to spray just a little bit here. And we're going to go ahead and spray our edges around there as we're going to get ready to cut and slice this thing open. You can kind of see there how much glue I got coming out of there. It's not much at all, really. It's more air spewing out than anything. And go ahead.
M.Dub says, hey, what's up, Marcus?
Hey, what's happening, M.Dub? Appreciate you for watching, man. Thank you. Not much coming out. I'm controlling how much I shoot with this. You can even press on the trigger and you get nothing but air at this point. But I'm pressing it just a little bit more. To help control how much glue I'm squirting out of this. Now, I have my settings spread to a little wide because if I If I narrow it down too narrow, it will give me a better spray, but it will give me too much glue. So this is where I find that I got the best spraying right now. You can see I'm able to go around this thing a few times without overspraying it. All right, so now let's get to the cutting. I like to jump in here real quick and just put me a nice little X like that. And that way I can go ahead and push these things up to the edge like I mentioned to you before. You want to make sure that you're all the way up to the top. Being all the way up at the top is just going to help you control the material a lot better. You don't have to have any worries if the material has a wrinkle on the backside. You're still going to pull on it a little bit just because you want it to be nice and tight. But now I got everything all the way up to the top edge. And now when we cut our release, we know that every slice that we cut will be nice and even. So we're going to start here on this corner. And I like to cut about 2.5 inches in or so, start my relief. And I want to cut about a finger away from the actual edge. So I'll come in here and start cutting these little relief tabs just like this. Alright, so now you guys, you see I have this corner pretty much done. I'm going to take my finger and lift it up like this, and that gives me almost where I can wrap the edge. But you see, I still need to cut a little more relief. So with my finger giving me an idea of how far in I can go, I'm going to go ahead and cut this little relief tab a little bit wider, because this is the one that I actually need to turn the corner on the back side and make sure that it's down real good. There we go. So if you look, guys, I use this as a good anchor to make sure that I wrapped it on that edge there. Nice on the edge, put a nice little piece, and that'll hold that without a problem from years to come when as this thing ages. So now I can just take these little tabs and pull them over and lay them over like such. And this is just a nice little start of it. And so I only want to go about halfway down because I want to also utilize the stretch of this material in this corner to be able to pull from this side over and pull from halfway here over. That way it gives me the stretch I need to wrap on the back side. So real quick, I'm going to jump in here, start making my relief cut here. Now I got this thing all laid out nicely. Do my anchor and lay it over, and now the rest of these can just follow suit. Get all this extra out of the way. Get a nice little cut. Now, me trimming this off is mainly for just because I like it to look a certain way, but you can leave as much material as you got tacked down. It's not going to hurt anything.
I think the other one is the new one, just a newer one.
This one.
Mm-hmm.
All right, so it's coming together nice and beautiful, guys. Really excited about this little piece here. I guess I get excited about all the stuff I do, but at the same time, it's coming out real nice. All right. And that's all we do is just keep pulling these edges down. Get us a nice, smooth finish. Voila, magic. Nice and beautiful on the edges. All of this get pulled out on the back side. And we're a good wrap on this, guys. Nice wrap. So appreciate you guys for joining me today. Again, I'm going to be trying to do more lives, giving out more game. You guys hit me up in my DM or message me on any of my platforms. We're Headliner Magic everywhere. Headliner Magic on Instagram, Headliner Magic on YouTube, Headliner Magic on Facebook. But you can hit me up anywhere and I'll respond to you. I'm actually working on trying to incorporate where I can answer everybody in one central place. So sometimes I do get a little overwhelmed with the messages, but I try to get back to everybody.
Price $37.38 as. Let me look at it again.
Okay.
Yeah, price $37.38 as nice. So how did you learn this trade?
I actually am self-taught. A little backstory on me is I like to have a lot of old school cars, and throughout my years growing up, I see certain vehicles that I like, and I'll get to acquire those vehicles and kind of deck them out a little bit. But when I was a young cat and in college, I had an old school Cadillac that I did all white guts on the inside. I didn't do them guts myself. I actually paid to have it done, and as being a college kid, I paid $1,700 to have my insides done, and again, that was in '93. And my car ended up getting stolen with my school books inside, so I ended up having to drop out of college. But for that reason of not having any school books right at the beginning of school starting, and my car was gone. But when I went to the pound to pick it up, I stood in the front of my vehicle, and I was able to look through the windshield, and the trunk lid was up, and everything in that car was stripped. So I started from the bottom, rebuilding that car, and I said, you know, I can't afford to go back to the upholstery guy and pay $1,700 to have the insides done on that car. So I ended up buying me a sewing machine, and I taught myself. I taught myself how to sew. I taught myself how to do these panels and everything, and it was a real good experience. You know, I did hit a low because I had to drop out of college, but at the same time, throughout the years, I started my own business. So here I am today, fast forward, with all of that knowledge and wisdom behind me of learning how to do the trade myself. You know, I've watched some other people throughout the years that have given me game on certain things, and I picked that up and applied it with what I know. And in the headliner game, being Headliner Magic, we have our own technique of how we pull things out, how we do things to minimize the amount of work that you have to do, so you can maximize your time based on not having to pull all these pillars out or whatnot. You know, there's no pulling these windshields out like some of the dealerships try to make you believe it has to be done. We don't do any of that stuff. I mean, we rarely even have to pull out any seats or any stuff like that. The technique has been verified over the years because we've been doing it for years. So really appreciate you guys for watching me. I am going to give probably a little bit more insight onto some of the projects that I'm going to be working on in the future, because I have a goal of having 7 old school cars, and I have all these cars now, and I'm going to be spending a little time on building those cars. So you guys stay tuned. I got a lot of good things in the mix for you, and just want to give as much knowledge as possible. This thing is very relaxing for me to be able to see something come together, and for you guys, it can just help you save money, but at the same time, you can either make money, save money, but you can be doing your own projects that'll help you to feel good about what you drive.
Price responds. He says, self-taught is awesome. Kudos to you. You do great work, sir. I like that. You started green and taught yourself from day one and without YouTube.
Thank you. I really appreciate you guys for just checking out my channel, because one, uh, I'm just an ordinary guy, but at the same time, I guess we're doing extraordinary things. So I really appreciate you guys for checking us out. And this is what we do. I love it. We love it. And thank you. You guys.
All right.